Hi there, Rob Schulz with Schulz Wealth, registered investment advisory firm in Mansfield, Texas. I'm a certified financial planner and family advisor. And recently I saw an article put together by Magnify Money that stated that the average, or median rather, savings for the average American family is only $11,700. Of course, that's way too low. And we kind of have to ask ourselves, why is that? Why do we, all of us, myself included, why do we all struggle with saving a sufficient amount of money for our long-term goals, for instance, for retirement? Why is it so hard for us to do this? And there's one theory or answer that presents itself. It's something called short-term bias. Short-term bias says that we as humans, when we process information, we tend to give threats that are short-term priority over threats that are long-term. And that would make sense because over the course of human history, that type of bias would lend well to our species surviving. But yet today, the complicated world that we live in, this is something that very much works to our detriment. Because in America, we have to save for retirement, or we're not going to have enough money to be able to sustain our quality of life once we stop working, whether it's because we want to or because we have to. We know we have to save this money, and yet because it's a long-term goal and so far out there, we process a bunch of short-term stuff over and above and give it a higher priority over retirement until the point where a lot of times it becomes too late and we're unable to achieve that goal sufficiently. So how do we get around this? How do we fix this for ourselves? And I think just beating ourselves up and saying, oh, I need to save more and that kind of thing, that's not the answer. I think the answer lies with first of all, identifying and quantifying what that amount is. And I think most Americans never do this, never go and actually try to calculate how much money, a lump sum amount, how much money we're going to need at retirement. And I think that's, again, the first step. We go out there, we calculate that. Now we have a quantified goal. And then from there, we have to figure out a way to put savings towards that goal. And I think the best way to do that is through accountability. If I want to get into shape, I try to find an accountability partner, to go do triathlons with or whatever. I know that there's a lot of accountability in my business, towards the regulators and towards the CFP board, et cetera, to ensure that I'm doing things the way I should. We use accountability in all different parts of our lives, and yet a lot of us or a lot of folks tend to kind of go it alone when it comes to our personal finances. A lot of that is because it's so personal, it's so private, it's not something we share with a lot of people. But I would encourage you to think about trying to find some accountability, whether it's through a friend or through a spouse or through a financial planning firm like ours, to find that accountability, to quantify what it is that you're trying to achieve, and then step through a goal process. I think that's really the only way to overcome that short-term bias that's ingrained in all of us. And I think it's important that we as Americans identify and figure out how to solve this problem. Again, it's Rob Schulz with Schulz Wealth. Take care.